speaker for our 2024 Viva Engage Festival is Sneha Biswas from Tata Steel. So Sneha is the Senior Manager for Corporate Communications. And this is a really interesting story, actually. So at Tata Steel, they have been using Viva Engage as the go-to platform to amplify conversations about volunteering and outcomes from volunteering. And this is a really, really cool story for any organisations who are wanting to see the impact that depth of conversation through Viva Engage can have for embedding more of your organisational values. So I'll hand over to you now, Sneha. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Emily. I'll just share my screen. You let me know if it's visible.
Yes, please. That's visible now, and then just the in presentation mode, it's just fantastic. Good to go.
Yeah. So hi everyone, I'm Sneha from India. This is morning here, so good morning from India. To everyone who's joined online, thank you so much, Emily, for giving me this opportunity. So I'll just briefly speak about my company first, and then how we have used a platform like Viva Engage to sort of translate conversation to actual action-oriented transformative culture. So I'll speak briefly about my company first, and then how volunteerism sort of pegs our entire social relationship capital in the overall agenda of our organization. What was the challenge, and how did we identify the opportunities, and what was the consequence? So yeah, we are a steel making company. We are 35 million ton per annum in capacity. We have about 78,000 employees across the globe, including frontline and white collar, blue collar employees. We have operations across Canada, India, Europe, Thailand, and Netherlands. So we are across the globe here. So I'll briefly touch upon the values that are on the right side. So our founder, Mr. J.N. Tata, he founded this company about 150 years ago with the values that are listed on the right. Integrity, responsibility, excellence, pioneering, and unity. And these are the 5 pillars on which the entire workforce of Tata Steel actually operates. Responsibility is something that we really take care of our community. In fact, our founder said that the sole purpose of the existence of our enterprise is actually community. And more than 70% of our revenues actually go in the CSR activities, so that we can actually do something about the people for whom we are actually operating. Next, so we have a lot of activities that we do for our society. Volunteering becomes a peg where we sort of use our employees' volunteering hours, and map them into something really meaningful. And we cater to a lot of social causes, right from animal welfare to women empowerment to right to education, good food, good health, cleanliness, the environment, and we are all aligned to the SDG goals. And the main aim of having this entire volunteering piece into our organization is that we want to have this societal perspective into our business operations. We want to understand what the communities think about us, and how do they want us to serve them. And this is where we empower all of our employees to go and talk to people around them and see and provide value to them. So the challenge here is what we had done. Initially, the volunteering had been going on for a long time, but we were not able to map exactly how many volunteering hours are actually. We knew the outcome. We knew that how many people we were touching into. We knew how many kids are there in the schools to whom we are, teaching. But we really did not know how many employees were actually volunteering. And so we launched this portal of purpose, where employees who were volunteering needed to come back and log their volunteering hours. The challenge here was that the volunteering was happening, but we were not having any sort of data or numbers for us to understand what is the input. And then comes the momentum. It's just not a conversation led, it's just not campaign led. So there's a volunteering week that's going on. You need to volunteer just then. It's something that we needed to sustain all around the year. Then the PCBH. PCBH is one KPI that we started monitoring. That's per capita volunteering hour. Each employee was expected to volunteer at least 2 hours. You can go up to whatever number of hours, but at least 2 hours, so that we can all come together and create some meaningful impact, some tangible impact. Uh, the last year we had about 6 companies merged into Tata Steel, inducting them into this whole, um, uh, you know, into this whole system, and to help them understand that what volunteering means to us, what the social capital mean to us, was again another challenge. And then we wanted to move on from, it's nice to have, okay, we are volunteering, okay, it's good, but then no, it's something that we have to do. It's something that is, that has cascaded down from a founder like 150 years ago, and we are all proud of working at Tata Steel for a reason, and this is one of the reasons that binds us together. So with all of these challenges, what we did is we created a framework. We launched the portal of purpose, where we sort of started logging hours, but we were not getting enough people to get into it. So first we created framework, and then I'll just talk through pictures, no text and all. I hope that's okay, but I'm ready to answer questions whenever it comes. So on the left, you can see the portal of purpose was launched by our leadership. We started talking about it in Viva Engage. We sort of started giving people an idea that, portal of purpose is something that actually will help us all understand that, we are finding our purpose, and you can see what are the existing volunteering opportunities that you can participate in. You can do a DIY sort of thing also. You can go self-initiate, come back and volunteer as well. So we created a framework around it. Then we sort of went ahead and started showcasing ongoing identity work. Now, this area is where Viva Engage sort of helped us in binding people together with a common emotion. So in the last presentation by, I think, Sharon and Lawrence, we saw that fun-based post received most engagement. Here, what we saw that people were having fun interacting with these people. There was this sentiment of, okay, that's nice. It's just not always, corporate things and meetings and all. It's a part of our job hours, and our company allows us to go and volunteer in within working hours, and that's absolutely legal. And people were finding a lot of happiness, and it was so amazing to see everyone come together. And when the ongoing identity work was actually showcased on Viva Engage, a lot of people started following those footsteps. A lot of people started, okay, let's also do this together. So this started on the right hand side. You see a lot of campaigns that were actually acting as triggers for our employees to, sustain the momentum. So we had planned an internal communication campaign all throughout the years in breaks of 2 months or 3 months, so that, we keep on constantly nudge people to keep doing this work and keep logging the hours. We needed the PCBH numbers. The PCBH target was about 2.5 to 3 last year, and we were just barely at 1. But through these, we saw that the numbers were increasing, and we were sort of reaching our target. Cultivating contagious champions. This is again one of the most important things that we started doing, and we sort of started highlighting and telling stories about people who had actually made change on ground. So on the left, you can see this security professional who is from the security department, but he's done about 150 rescue missions, and he's an expert, and he's a diver, and he sort of rescues people when there's a flood, when there's a lot of other disasters across the countries. He goes there and he brings people out of their homes. There are landslides, he's went there and he's got them out of their homes. And it's an excellent story. And when we started posting that story, people sort of started realizing that how important it is for us to go, and it's just about few hours. It's just about giving that little bit of time and that extra bit of effort. So there were a lot of people who were thinking that, okay, I should go and do and I should volunteer. But when these stories started coming out, when they were sort of put under the spotlight, so we sort of started cultivating these moral exemplars for their peers to start recruiting them into this entire volunteering story. Then we sort of nominated these volunteering champions across the departments and divisions. We asked the leadership to nominate them, and we spotlighted them that in case you're finding any issues, you can always go to them, because we are diverse and we are across all locations. So it was not possible for a team of 3 or 4 to cater to a 70,000 plus workforce. So we sort of did that, and then we also highlighted them and their efforts, and then it started sort of growing, and it was amazing. It's just like a chain reaction. These stories were just catalyst, but the chain reaction is just exploded. And once people started posting about their own stories, more people started posting, seeing them, more people started posting, and it just took off. And we're so proud of the stories that are really so heartwarming, that we sort of not only reached our target, we actually surpassed it. And the kind of community engagement that we saw was amazing. These are few more trigger points. We had leadership advocacy. We had a lot of debate around why are we doing volunteering? Why is it necessary? Why is it something that the organization is pushing? What will an employee gain out of it? I mean, it should be entirely self-voluntary. And there were so many viewpoints, and it was such a transparent session. So more people came up with more views. People started talking about it. So the whole point as an internal communicator, our point was to keep the conversation happening. It was not about just going on ground work, but the volunteering thing should be something that people should always be talking about. Only then we can translate, conversations into action-oriented transformations. So yeah, so consequence was organically a lot of media started picking up that, we've celebrated these volunteering weeks, we are empowering communities. So I've given only few screenshots. There were lots of social media stories that picked up organically. Our mother company, the Tata Group, it picked up a lot of good stories. It started acknowledging people. We had this rewards and recognition system also, where employees with exceptional volunteering hours were awarded, so that they also inspired people to do something great like that. And at the end of the year, we ended up with 82,933 volunteering hours from just few thousand hours. And that was a great, increase. We saw an 857% increase in the PCBH. We saw 1,029% increase in the total volunteering hours in a year. And the media just picked it up, and we were so happy that it was just organically how Viva Engage actually helped us in, positioning these stories into a way that everybody was started talking about it. So yeah, that's about it. I thought I'll put some impactful pictures from these community work as well. These are the kids that we regularly interact with. So yeah, so any questions, I'm happy to answer. I'll just stop sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sneha. The reason why I love this story so much is because we're not necessarily focusing on the challenge of being, how do we get more people on Viva Engage? Looking at data to see, how many posts, how many people, how many active users, whatever it may be. I love that your story has started with an organizational goal and an organizational outcome, and then you have seen Viva Engage as the platform to achieve that goal. So I love how it's followed that journey, as opposed to it being, the outcome being more engagement on Viva Engage. It's just an interesting and a different way to look at this as a platform.
Yeah.
And being able to achieve those goals that you've mentioned as well. So it's PVCH or PCVH.
Yes.
Per capita volunteering hours. I'm learning as I go as well. It's great that you're able to check that against outcomes. And for anyone who is listening into today's session as well, I strongly encourage you to do the same with any of your communities that do have that organisational outcome focus, or if it's a particular team. Think about how you can measure some of those outcomes as a result of the great conversation that's happening in a Viva Engage community, or that's happening as a result of a cool campaign that you may be running. It's just a different way to have a look at it. So strongly encourage as well for anyone who has questions, please do pop them into the Q&A. I can see there's a bit of commentary in the chat as well, Sneha, just about, you know, those incredible results that you've achieved. So thank you also for sharing those. Let me just jump into the Q&A. Okay, so can you give 1 minute on internal comms at Tata Steel? Oh, maybe Sneha, if you can maybe share a little bit about, the landscape of internal comms at Tata Steel. Like, this is just one particular community that we've focused on, but we'd love to hear more about the broader picture.
Yeah, so we have intranet, we have mass mailers that we send out to our employees. We have Viva Engage, we have SMSs, message-based systems, we have kiosks, we have digital voting. So these are all internal communication platforms, but in different formats. So there are a lot of frontline workers who are not digitally connected, or who have shared systems based on their roles. So we use these votings for them to actually see what's happening across the organization. So this is our overall landscape. What we did in this particular point is that when we started, sending messages across the employees in the form of emails or SMS or intranet, all of them pointed directly to Viva Engage. So what we were doing is that any sort of point of contact with an employee regarding a conversation, the call to action led them to Viva Engage to sort of start having and understanding what's happening in the community. Best part of Viva Engage is that they have enabled this announcement option through which an email and a Teams trigger goes to people who are actually a part of that group. So, so for example, if we have 5 community managers, we make them the admin, and the star stories, we used to post them as announcement. So when people started receiving them at frequencies, they were intrigued. Oh my God, let me see what's happening. Okay, so this is what is happening. So, I need to engage with them. I need to understand. I need to be a part of this whole overall story. And they reached out to us and they said, what can we do? I said, which is nothing. You just go and start volunteering and talk about it. That's it. It's just like Facebook post. So that's how. So there was a question I had asked Leona in the previous session, that how are you triggering your silent observers? So what we did here is that this was a sentiment that actually intrigued people to talk about it, that, okay, I did this, and they wanted to show also. I mean, everybody wants to be seen. Okay, I'm doing this. So that was a natural, organic way of getting people to talk about it. Once they started posting even a silly comment like an okay in a post full of stories, so we started acknowledging it. Okay, great, at least there's a start, and now you can start commenting on it and engaging on it. So this is how it picked up.
Breaking it down and making it really simple for your end users too. Like, we think about it kind of in the same way that we look at it for like the social communities, right? Like, there's that really low barrier to entry. So when we look at those conversations about volunteering, it's naturally quite easy to share about the cool things that you've been doing, and to share that message across, that broader community too. I'm also thinking, Sneha, like, for your community, like sort of drilling down to the volunteering example again, and you kind of set this up at the start of your session. Tata Steel has a very geographically dispersed workforce, like you're across, several different countries. Is this a community where you see people across all of those different countries sharing their experiences too?
No, so right now we have not merged the platforms as yet. So Netherlands has its own Viva Engage community, UK has its own Viva Engage community because of GDPR rules, and also we are still figuring that out. That's on the charts. That would actually involve a lot of other things as well. But yes, we are looking at merging everything so that we have conversations across the globe and understand perspective from different geographies.
Excellent. And then I just also have a question as well. A major part of having this work is that leadership advocacy piece. I know you spoke a little bit about the importance of the voice of leaders, but is there anything in particular that you did to bring leaders along on that journey with you? Did you sort of coach them through it to also share their experiences? What did that look like?
Yeah, so we created a toolkit for them that, this is what we are doing, this is what the organization, and this was actually a top-down approach. This had come from the leaders that, we want people to be talking about it. So we already had their buy-in. We did not need to, convince them a lot. So this had already come from the chairman, and he sort of was very strong about then, this should be happening. But how this could happen is something that where internal communicators jumped in the whole strategy thing. And then we spoke to our leaders that this is what we are thinking of, what do you think? And they were all in, okay, so we are great to do that. Whatever help you need. We had multiple sessions with the leadership where they sort of nominated people, and they also took names of those people who were actively involved since so many years. So to create that sort of a thing that if this person can, anyone can. And it's not something of a rocket science. So that was one sentiment that we thought would resonate with everyone rather than just talk about a lot of official or corporate stuff where people are a little bit hesitant while participating.
And beyond the volunteering community as well, like obviously you've seen some really strong results there. Are there any other stories from other parts of Viva Engage where you've seen some really great results, like any other campaigns or any other communities just off the top of your head that you've seen some really great activity happening on?
See, as Lauren said, positive conversations always work, right? So we have lots and lots of events across different geographies. We have very good stories about them. We just concluded 2 of our major brand initiatives, which are marathons. And we had communities participating from across the country who had traveled more than 1,000 miles to, reach here, come here, run in the race. And we posted their stories and people started coming that, they want to do it. And it's sort of, again, depends on the subject as well. Sports adventure is again another subject people really look forward to. So we've seen that it's not always the corporate stuff thing, that people would always want to participate in. The participation there is a little bit moderate. It's the same users, but a diverse set of comments that we receive are mostly on the sports related stuff, community related stuff. So stuffs which are not very, corporate-y. Yeah.
Thank you so much again, Sneha, for sharing all of these insights and sharing this story. I'm sure people who are running specific communities on their networks will find this to be a particularly compelling story. Same goes for anyone who may be tackling a similar organisational challenge as well, in terms of sort of going back to your organisational values and seeing how they're coming to life across your network and throughout the organisation. So if everyone could perhaps please, again, join me thanking Sneha for sharing those insights today. Really, really appreciate it.